Welcome back, you guys. I'm Mitch, and this is the final Exodus. It's important today to invite the Lord into your time with Him. I hope that you're doing that and that you're going to grasp what He's given me to give you. This meditation is called the grid. Will you escape it? And I'm going to try to do this a little bit easier, a little bit more simplistic, and a little bit shorter than I normally do. And hopefully that'll be something that'll be easier for you guys and also something you can share. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. God bless you. I'm here to strengthen you and help you with the things that the Lord has shown me. So let's get started. The Babylonian grid, the grid. What is the grid? So, on the back of the dollar bill is a pyramid. A pyramid is something that we're familiar with from Egypt. And there's another pyramid on this side, only there's a upside down pyramid on top of it. And these represent the global grid. And there are two nations that are leading the world in the global grid. And it's a significant thing to understand. And I'm hoping that this will bless you deeply. So let's continue on this. I want to show you this visual of a beautiful picture that one of my patients took this week. It's out her front yard. This little picture was taken outside her front yard, and it was in the morning where a storm was coming. And a storm causes a red sky in the morning. And red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. And so, although this looked like a beautiful day, honestly, to start with, it turned out to be a stormy day. And I thought that described what we're at right now. Is things seem to be all right, not too bad, but there's a thief coming and it's going to surprise many. So we want to talk a little bit about that. And when I do, there's going to be some things that this has been withheld from most people. And so I'm going to show you things. We're running out of time. I'm going to show you things that some may consider very horrifying, but this is not intended to horrify you. This is the revelation of Jesus Christ, and it's going to bless you. So, but be prepared. This video may horrify some people. So let's take a look at the grid. I want you to understand something, that Israel, before the Exodus out of Egypt, was a partaker of the grid. This is no different than Lot. Lot was in a grid too. You know, it's really hard to leave Sodom. And so his wife looked back to Sodom. But it's hard to leave because, why is it hard to leave? It's hard to leave because of the grid. So Israel was comfortable to some extent in Egypt. Think about that comfort coming from the grid. So there's an Egyptian grid, and it brings comfort. And there's a Babylonian grid as well. And that grid is sustained by the material world. And the symbol on the back of the dollar bill typifies that grid. And that grid has an upside down triangle on it as well that spells out the word MASON. N. And that's not an accident. And these 13 stars make up that grid as well. It is a pyramid, right side up and upside down. This is the global grid symbol, and there's a reason for it, much deeper than I'm going to go into in this video. But you can see that this is on the material wealth, this grid with an eye in the middle of it. And it might surprise you that this eye in this symbol is prevalent throughout the world. You can just check it out yourself. I'll give you a couple pages here of these symbols that show us this global grid symbol, this one world government symbol. You say, well, that's not coming from this. No way. A lot of people really don't believe what I'm saying. Okay, before we get to that visual, I want to take you quickly through a few more thoughts. That this Babylonian grid is supported by an electric grid, a water grid, a sewer grid, a natural gas grid. Natural gas, is heat. And I live in a northern state of Minnesota, and it gets very cold here. So the grid is really helpful that, we don't even have to think about these things. We have a transportation grid. Anyway, you don't think about it much. These things just support our lifestyle today. And I'm asking, will you be able to escape the grid? So consider this with me, that the kingdoms of the world are going to be ruled by what they want to install as their King of Kings. And they are siphoning off the wealth of the nations. The IRS, the taxation, the central banks, that is not American. Those things, the tax system, is global. It's a global tax system, and they're already beginning to strategize how to enforce the global tax. If you haven't seen that, look it up. So over the years, they've been siphoning off the wealth of the nations through taxation. And people think that their taxes go to run the country. And I've been showing you who these people are who run the world, who own the central banks and all the money. Well, it's gotten to the point where money doesn't do anything for them anymore. So they're using their money, they're spending their money to perpetuate the events that are happening right now. And I've showed you that in the past, that these things are all being incentivized by money. They're spending their money and they're giving to the nations to keep the people happy in this time of distress. So a lot of money is being just poured into all the countries. And they are paying for everything we see right now. They're paying for these things. And so they are purchasing something and giving us something. So what, first of all, are they giving us? Well, they're giving us the ability to maintain this grid. Just let that sink in a little bit. They're giving us the ability to maintain this grid. So they have siphoned off the wealth of the nations, and now with all the money that they have, they're paying for something else. What do you think they're purchasing with their money? Why are they so... You think it's your government that is supplying this money. It isn't. It's the central bankers of the world that are supplying all this money. And what are they purchasing for this money? What do you think they want in return? Have you thought about that? Well, they're purchasing us. See, it's no longer enough for them to have the money. Now they want the world. And I say it like this: they want the shoes on your feet, the clothes on your back. They want the food that you eat, the water that you drink, the air that you breathe. They want you, all of you. They want your bank account. They want your house. They want your car. They want all of it. They want the whole thing, the whole world. And the people are tempted to be like Esau. So if you know about Esau, he exchanged his birthright for a bowl of soup. For just a bowl of soup, he gave away his birthright. So they want to mark us, and when you mark something, you put a mark on it. It's an ownership mark. They want to mark us. And this will happen when they reset the global currency. So this is the point of this video, so pay attention. The Great Reset, or the global currency, is going to exchange all the wealth of the nations for a global currency. You will have to turn in your bank accounts, your houses, your cars, your 401k, all your retirement accounts. All these need to be turned in, but don't worry. You'll get the wealth back through the global currency exchange. They're going to give it all back as global currency. But to do this, everyone will have to be injected. That's all you have to do to get on the global currency exchange. After the global currency, everything you have will be worthless. Unless you're on the global currency, you won't be able to purchase anything with your national money any longer. So it will be impossible to purchase. And you can see this headline here of October 2021, October 15th. The U.S. Treasury Deputy Secretary warns that uninjected Americans, that shortages will continue until everyone is injected. Everyone. And if we go here to the Revelation, the book of Revelation, it says in Revelation 13:16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So this is what it will take, and I'm showing you that this reset that is going to occur will be transitioned by the injection. Without the injection, it's impossible. So the thief that is coming in the night, as we are getting ready to exit Babylon, the thief that's coming in the night is the Great Reset, the mark, the injection. And the congregation is not being shown this. So to understand what is going to be necessary, we have to prepare ourselves to leave the grid. And I'll leave you with these thoughts. Prior to this grid, there were many people who lived off the land, not a part of any electrical grid or gas grid or transportation grid. They might have walked or ridden horses. They lived in the wilderness like Israel did when they left Egypt. They lived in the wilderness. And they ate from the land. And the question I want to ask you is, could you do that? Can you separate yourself from the grid? Many people have lived that way, even before there really was this kind of a grid. So it would be necessary to think like that to prepare for the times ahead. And that's what the Lord means in Revelation 18:4. Now look at this verse that's in 18:4 of Revelation. Right at the end of the whole Bible, it says, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, so that you will not participate in her sins and receive of her plagues. Come out of the grid. This is going to be necessary. And that the Lord will be our sustenance, not our dollars, not our dependence on this government, the government of this world. What do you think? What do you think, you guys? How are you doing with that? So, if you like this, let me know. Give me a thumbs up to encourage me. I always enjoy seeing that you appreciate this. But if you don't worry about it. If you don't like this, you can even give me a thumbs down. But if you give me a thumbs down, tell me why. And that doesn't hurt my feelings. I really love to hear from you because I want to do things well for you. Don't forget to share and subscribe. The next video that I'm going to do is going back to Daniel 9:27. So last video I was in 9:27 and I did a prophecy fulfilled flash report, how the 7-year covenant has been fulfilled as of March 20th, 2020. And I'm going to finish this verse next video called the Wing of Abomination. So we're going to look at that more closely and see how that's actually happening already. Guys, blessings to you. May God bless you richly and encourage you, because He is the King of Kings. And when you look out the window and you see the trouble coming this way, remember, it is the judgments of God and the revelation of Jesus Christ, which is Revelation 1:1, first 5 words. So God bless. We'll talk to you soon.